This thing has way more torque than my 911. Hey everyone, welcome to the Dev Thing. What we have here is the 2018 Audi RS5. It's beautiful, it's an amazing sports car it looks like from the outside, and I'm eager to get into it and start driving it and show you guys what this car is all about. In this video, we want to cover a few things for you. Let's do a walkthrough of the exterior and then show you guys what it's like on the inside, do a quick drive, and then let's talk about what's so special about this car. And then finally, we'll end the video with looking at the various options you can get for this car and whether or not you should buy this car. Anyways, without further delay, let's get into the car. Let's show you guys some of the details and we'll get right to it. This 2018 Audi RS5 is fully loaded, has all the options checked off except for the carbon ceramic brakes. Daytona gray with the black optics package, it just looks awesome. This front is so aggressive, classy, sophisticated, all together, all at once. The honeycomb grille makes this super cool, has this quattro signia, that seems to be standard for all the RS models now, especially in the B9 setup here for the RS4 and the RS5. I also see this in the RS3 and the TTRS. So it's kind of cool. The honeycomb grille has gotten bigger, wider, more aggressive. It's just ready to swallow the road. There's a lot of ducting, functional ducting for cooling of the wheels and the brakes. Inlets for the intakes as well. It also has these red calipers and 20-inch wheels. Again, like I said, there's no carbon ceramic brakes on this car, but for daily purposes, I don't think you need it. Massive brakes up front. Massive brakes at the back. Red calipers again. It also has the sport exhaust, which you'll hear in a moment. The rear end, it looks so cool. Love this RS5 symbol on the side of the car. This used to be a BMW thing in the past. They still have them in the M series, and now the RS models are kind of coming up with that too. Carbon fiber side mirror caps. Love the LED designs on this car. These lines are so sharp. How do they engineer this? It still have the curvy designs of the previous generation B8s and the B8.5, but it's really modernized it. I think this angle right here is probably the best looking aspect of this car now. Wow. Okay, first thing you notice about trying to open the hood, it's heavy. It's real heavy. Check this out, guys. So this is a 2.9 liter V6. It's the same engine that's going to be in the Porsche Panamera S, the Cayenne S, and the Macan S. It is a dual turbo, or bi-turbo they call it, with single scrolls. This is very similar to the V6 that's in the S4 and the S5, which is a 3 liter V6, single turbo, twin scroll. But they've ported this engine to a 2.9 and tuned it to produce about 450 horsepower and around 444 some foot-pounds of torque. That is crazy. That'll certainly get you going from 0 to 60. Such a clean engine compartment. Now this carbon trim that you see here, that is an optional update as well, or upgrade in the options, and we'll look at that later. I personally wouldn't pay the extra money for it, but if it came with it, I'm not gonna say no. Pretty nice, eh guys? All right, let's go check out the interior. There's some really cool tech in there I want to show you guys. Oh boy, now this is a pleasure to get into. Open this up. It is your typical Audi interior. Everything is ergonomic. Everything is within fingertips away from what you need to do. No distractions. Everything is centered around the driver. It's just amazing. These red stitching here that you see, that's also an optional update, and we'll look at that later. Cool interior, virtual cockpit. It's got the little screen outside up there. Again, this is typical to what you see in the Audi A4, the S4, A5, and the S5 if you option in the virtual cockpit. So it's very similar. The difference here in the RS model is the Alcantara steering, carbon updates, which I believe you can get in the S5 and the S4 as well, and Alcantara on the shifter knob as well. You can easily squeeze 2 people in the back as well, compared to before where it was a lever at the back here. Now it's a pull mechanism. Pull that, push it out, and now you get access to the rear. Now, one thing that's really new for this B9 RS5, and maybe in the S5 as well, I believe, yes, it is in the S5 as well, is this little thing that feeds the seatbelt to the driver. Quite convenient, especially if you're not flexible, where you want to try and pull your seatbelt to you as you get into the car. So that's a new addition to the B9, S5, and the RS5, which is cool. We've got sort of this panoramic sunroof, which is nice. Lets a lot of light into the car. What's really cool about this is that there's so much room. It feels so spacious in the car. Even from the back, I don't feel cramped one bit. All of this is very familiar. The automatic shifter with parking. Electronic handbrake system. A quick touchpad to interface with the MMI system. Virtual cockpit. If there is something that I didn't like about this generation of cars, whether it's coming from Mercedes or Audi or BMW, is this sort of tablet-like approach for the infotainment system. I kind of wish it wasn't there. It's not going to age well. Thankfully, future designs of these cars seem to indicate that these infotainment screens are going to be blended in with the dash, which is kind of nice. So this is your typical key fob for all your Audis, the S4, S5, A4, A5. All right, let's go in, check out some of the tech, start the car, give you guys a sense of what this exhaust sounds like, and let's drive. sounds pretty good. You can kind of hear all the turbo, the intakes, the spools kind of turning fast, and the hissing and the popping. Let's turn on the ignition, brakes in, push start button. Whoa, that sounds cool. Now let's check to see if the drive select is in. We want to be dynamic all the way. Oh yeah, there you go. We got to turn on dynamic mode. Dynamic wakes up the car, turns up the exhaust. Wow! System. Let's see what sort of. Oh, we're in exhaust now. Oh yeah. So it seems like it doesn't remember the dynamic mode from when you turn off the car to turn it back on. So you have to engage dynamic mode once more, and then you start to hear it. Oh, there's the crackling and popping. Yeah, that's it. So, in terms of individual mode, let's take a look at what all you can do with it. So, engine transmission, obviously far faster throttle response. Suspension control, right now it's in comfort, but that's okay. I'm just going to go take it all to dynamic. Dynamic steering, I'm going to see what that feels like, really. I don't know, I'm not really bought into it. Sport differential, the engine sound, and the adaptive cruise control. Yes, so we keep all of this in dynamic for sure. Adaptive cruise control, that's interesting. Does that mean you're going to tailgate some people in dynamic mode? After setting this car in dynamic and just driving it normal without really being a hooligan, it feels pretty good. It's pretty tight, it's pretty responsive, the steering is pretty bang on. I don't notice the lag that I used to get with the dynamic steering when I picked it up on the S5, the B8.5 S5. So this steering wheel seems a lot more responsive, and there's no sort of numbness in the center, it feels. Maybe a little bit, but it's nothing compared to what I saw or what I felt with the Audi S5, the B8.5. It was a 2014 model year. So dynamic suspension is very stiff. Everything is dynamic except for the suspension control, so we can kind of keep things a little tame in terms of jiggling my organs around in the car in the dynamic suspension. So comfort, a lot more civilized, a lot more compliant, really compliant. There's a big difference between dynamic suspension and comfort suspension. For daily use, just leave it in comfort. Don't worry about going to dynamic. Oh, wow. That is speechless. Very speechless. Whew. That got my heart pumping. Oh man. That is... Wow. All right. That is speechless. I don't know what to say. This is just amazing. Now we're going to turn in. Oh yeah. That's responsive. Oh. Man, so planted, so much grip. Wow. That is amazing. This will be a lot of fun on the track. I can sense it. I think I'm gonna have to chase after David Lee for one of those Audi events where they have this on the track and we push it to the limits and see how well it performs. But man, the front end doesn't seem like, well, let's be fair. I'm not pushing too hard, therefore I don't experience any of that understeer situation. But in these situations, in these daily driving situations, this is just, I feel comfortable, feel like I'm in my S4 or the S5, but it has this power, this beast of a power plant under the hood that makes you smile every time you apply throttle. It's such an awesome recipe. So, yes, it is a 2.9 liter V6 under the hood, and it's no longer this 4.2 liter V8. Do I miss that V8 rumble? Yes, I do, but there's no complaints about the sound in the cabin with this car. The sport exhaust is just amazing. It sounds the business. I highly recommend it. Now you're probably wondering, the BMW M4 or the M3 or the Mercedes C63 is a good alternative. Yes, it is a good alternative. But we are here in Canada and we have tons of snow for 4 months of the year. And in those situations, if this car is going to be your year-long car, you want all-wheel drive system. You want that here. For that reason only, I would buy this car in a heartbeat. Personally, for myself, I think I'm going to hold off for the 2019 RS5 Sportback. Even more practical than the two-door coupe. A four-door Sportback will be my selection for this RS5 variant. For the first time ever in Canada, we get the RS5 Sportback. We've only seen the S5 or the A5, S5, RS5 series for one generation. This is the second generation of the A5 lineup that we have available in Canada. So, finally, first time around, first year, we're going to get the Sportback in Canada. Thank you, Audi. Thank you for making that available here, finally. So that is going to be what I get into as soon as we're done with the S4 lease. So David Lee, here's the way I look at it right now. I've driven the R8 V10, and I'm now driving this. You get the same emotional satisfaction out of driving that R8 and driving this car as well. This is a lot heavier, yes, but from a daily driving and practicality perspective, I know my money is going to be well spent. Now, if money is not an option, I'd get both. So, don't make that a factor. But if you had to buy one car, and you could only buy that one car between the R8 and this, I'd get this. So I could drive it year long, and it'll put a smile on my face year long, not just the summers. Because if I buy the R8, I'm only driving it in the summer. My initial driving impressions are very biased. I'm a very big Audi fan, and everything they do I really appreciate as well. Alright, so we just finished that small drive. Kind of saw what my initial impressions were. Let me know what you guys think. Now let's talk about what makes this car so special. The first thing that comes to my mind is the 2.9 liter V6, making about 450 horsepower. It's the same motor that's going to be in some of the Porsches, like the Panamera S or the Macan S or the Cayenne S. So it's going to be a special motor, and I think it's going to be hanging around for quite some time. I think I've mentioned this before. It's very similar to the 3 liter V6 that you see in the S5 or the S4, but it's been ported and tuned to be completely different for the RS, especially when it's downplayed to 2.9 liter displacement. The other thing that makes this car so special is the interior. The interior is just amazing. It sort of invites you in, it hugs you, it invites you to stay for a long period of time. Doing this thing, going on a road trip for very long periods of time, you'll have no problems. The seats hug you, keeps you secure, you feel comfortable. The dynamic suspension allows you to really soften the car so that you're not feeling any of the bumps on the road. It's super smooth and it's amazing. It's an excellent machine. I'd recommend it for anyone who's in the market for a brand new coupe that wants performance and daily drivability as well. Let's take a look at some of the options you would want to consider if you're looking to buy this. I would consider this as a buy, and I would probably wait for the 2019 Audi RS5 Sportback. 5 doors, extra practicality, and the power and the fun factor of the RS5 Coupe. So for me, the Sportback looks a lot better in my eyes. This is an amazing car. If you're in the market for a coupe with performance and practicality, this is the car for you. Now let's look at some of the options you would want to consider. Let's load up the Audi website on my phone here. We're parked, we're not driving, so this is all right, this is safe. So we're looking at a base price of 82,500 Canadian. I would certainly pick the premium package. The few reasons why I would pick it is because of the 20-inch wheels and the Audi virtual cockpit. If there was another option that only provided those two and you could save a few dollars, I would do that. The rest of the things on this package I really don't care about. Maybe the Napa leather, it's kind of nice, but I just go with whatever standard if they had that option. Could have saved a few $1,000s there perhaps. So the way it is right now, I would certainly pick the premium package. I'd certainly pick the Audi Sport package, and here's the reasons why. The Sport exhaust system is a must-have in this car, and by that itself, it would justify the price for $4,800. The rest of the things on here, dynamic steering and dynamic suspension, I really don't care for. Even the speed limit increase to 280 kilometers an hour, really, I'm not going to be pushing the car to those limits. We don't live in Germany where we have access to the Autobahn where we can actually test the top speed. So if you're in Canada, those things don't really matter, but I would check that box. Off mainly because of the Audi Sport exhaust system. Next here is the carbon optics package. I think this is a must-have. For me, in my eyes, the black optics on a lighter color looks great. Even on the darker color, like this Daytona gray, it looks amazing. It looks stealthy. It looks menacing. Now, if you want to be fun and lively and bright, you can get you can opt out of the carbon optics and stay with the aluminum sort of painted trim. With, let's say, a red color or the blue. I wouldn't really do it with a white or a silver. There's too much aluminum trim all around and it's not my cup of tea. So I'm definitely picking the carbon optics package. I wouldn't really consider the RS interior design package. If you look at what it has, it's all of the Alcantara steering wheel and shifter. This would be great if you intend to track this car. But if this is mainly your daily driver and tracking it is not the biggest thing for you, I would opt out. For me, I would opt out of it because I like the daily driving aspect of it and I like the leather, it's easier to clean. And if I was to take it on track, I would have driving gloves anyway, so I wouldn't really care much for the Alcantara. And I'm not a professional race car driver or anything like that. So for me, I would opt out. I would save $1,500. And I wouldn't really care about any of this red stitching either. Advanced driver assistance package. This is a hard one. So I really like a lot of the adaptive cruise control bits, but it's not a must-have for me. For me, I'm going to opt out of this package. I don't necessarily care about all of the pre-send stuff, but if you're a techie person and you love all that tech, check that off. This is a bargain for all the tech that you're getting here. Especially the traffic congestion assist for daily driving bits. I think that's a must-have. For me, I'm going to opt out of that package. Now, color-wise, solid finishes. The Nardo Gray. I saw a Nardo Gray drive by in Canada and it looked amazing. So for a $0 cost of a paint, Nardo Gray with the black optics would look mega. I would recommend that. For me though, I would either consider the Glacier White or the Daytona Gray. I like that a little bit of a metallic finish to the paint. In the additional options, I really don't care about the Carbon Sigma engine compartment cover. Yeah, it's 600 bucks. If it doesn't matter to you in terms of the price, just check it off. It looks good. You see it on this car. For me, if I was going to pick it, I wouldn't spend the $600 to put it on something else. I would certainly like the red brake calipers. I think it looks pretty nice. It really stands out, shows how big these brakes are. The carbon ceramic package, no, not really. Unless you're going to be living on the track, this is really not necessary for a daily driving use. I know it has less brake dust and all of that, so in the long term it'll be a lot easier to clean up and all that. But for me, I don't really care. I'm going to save $6,000 and I'm not going to check that box off. The rest I would leave the same. I like the black interior. I don't really care for the gray per se or the white. Definitely not doing the white. It's going to get pretty messy. And that's it. So when we look at the total price, we're looking at about $100,000. That is pretty expensive for a nice car like this, but I think it's worth every dime. So there you have it, guys. Those are some of the things I would consider when buying this Audi RS5. Like I said, for me personally, I would be waiting for the 2019 Sportback model. I bet that's probably going to be 5 or 10 grand more than this coupe variant, but we'll see. The pricing hasn't been announced here for Canada yet, so we'll see what happens. If you guys know more details about the 2019 Sportback, please comment below and let me know if you have any more intel around that. So what do you guys think of this video? What do you guys think of this 2018 Audi RS5? Let me know in the comment below. Tell me a bit more. If there's something specific you'd like to see about this car, let me know. I'll probably go back to David Lee and request the car again and show you guys some of those things you asked me. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Until the next one, I will see you guys later. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, hit that like button as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.